Ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the studio with a good cup of coffee for one more vocal analysis. And today we are listening to this little boy called Claudius. I think that's the way to pronounce his name. And I was recommended this one. He just sang the song Iris from the Goo Goo Dolls at The Voice Germany. I'm really excited to hear that. That's a song that I love. I'm really curious to see his take on it. And what I can say already is that I really like his hairstyle. If you can't tell, that's the same cut that I get whenever I go to the salon. Mine is just longer right now, but yeah, let's check it out. If you're new to the channel, my name is Claudius. I'm a singer-songwriter and voice teacher. As a singer-songwriter, I just released my latest single. It's called Someone Else Already. If you are into pop music, sad music with raspy vocals, I'm pretty sure you like the song, so click the card up here to check it out. In fact, you should be listening to a little bit of it right now because I'll ask my editor to add that to the video so that you can check a little bit out. So I would love to get your comment. And as a voice teacher slash vocal coach, my work is focused and based on laryngeal biomechanics and physiology, basically what the muscles that we have inside our larynxes, inside our throats, they do in order to achieve the sounds that we have in contemporary singing. And that's also what will be guiding this analysis here. We'll be listening to Claudius and we'll be trying to identify what's happening at a physiological level so that we can also get similar sounds by using the same vocal adjustments. If you are interested in becoming my singing student, then click the link below and you get all of the info on my online singing program, Building Your Voice, in which we cover a range of different topics inside vocal technique. We talk about how to belt, how to sing low notes with power, but also how to be really expressive with our voices by using soft sounds that we call passive vocal schemes. We have a complete module on vocal distortions. How to practice and apply vocal distortions in a way that's healthy, that's safe for your voice, that will not harm your voice. We talk about ornaments such as vibratos, yodels, runs, all of that and much more. If you want to know everything that's covered inside the program, click the link below and I'll see you on the other side. Now, without further ado, let's listen to Claudius singing Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls.
And I give up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go on right now. And all I can taste is this moment, and all I can breathe is your light.
Interesting. So he started the song on the chorus already.
And I don't wanna go on right now. And all I can taste is this.
Okay, before someone comments on it, let's address the elephant in the room. If you guys are into recordings and audio and all things vocal performance and recording, you might be wondering whether this performance was actually live or not, because we can clearly hear that there is some serious processing of the sound. My bet is that the performance is indeed live, but it is treated and mixed, mastered, all things that studio recordings would have, it has, but afterwards. So I don't think anything was being done at the moment, but there is definitely some processing on the sound. I think that has been done afterwards. So a live performance that had some corrections, some plugins added later on.
And I give up forever to touch you.
Okay, so he's singing most of the times with active vocal folds, which is really interesting. And why is this a really interesting choice? Oh, I'm just saying he's 14 years old. When you're that young, probably you're going exactly at that moment for some physiological changes, important physiological changes that include your voice. So your vocal folds themselves, they get thicker, it gets easier to access lower notes, and because of that we tend to speak lower. When we are around that age, we tend to then keep that lower tone, those lower notes to speak. We tend to exercise less and less the higher notes. So when people say that it gets harder to sing high notes as you get older as a male, yeah, we have the physiological changes. I would say the physiological changes, most of what they do is they make it easier for you to access lower notes. I personally understand that what makes it harder to sing the higher notes is that you tend to use them less, hence practice them less. The muscles lose their adaptation. Well, I like to practice martial arts, right? When we are kids, we tend to have way more flexibility, for instance, on our legs to open the splits, and then it's way easier to kick higher. Some people are into gymnastics as well, dancing, and then they have the splits. And then as we grow, but not because we are growing, because we start focusing on other things and we do not exercise that anymore, we lose that capacity. Of course, we can gain that capacity again because the muscles, again, they can adapt. In fact, most of what we do as human beings is adapt to the environment. So if we give the right amount of stimulation, we do get that back, but it gets harder because we tend to simulate that less. That's what I understand that makes the situation with high notes for when we are growing up a bit harder. So at this moment, he's singing some high-ish notes with active vocal folds, pretty much belting as if it was nothing. Ta! Not too high yet, we're still thinking about a range before the E4 in which the TAs, the thyroarytenoid muscles, are still working more than the CTs. They are still preponderant to make that happen. We call that vocal scheme inside Vocal Anthropophysiology, which is a framework for my work here as a voice teacher. That's what we call a crooner voice. 'Cause I know that you feel me somehow. Interesting. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be. And he's skipping that. I'll ever be. And I don't wanna go home right now. And all the taste is this. Taste. I really like that. Now we are hearing some passive vocal schemes. And all the taste. This is a taste. This is a Gregorian voice. Okay, I know some people call it falsetto, some people call it head voice. Inside of vocal anthropology, we call this kind of sound. We have some subglottic pressure, some air pressure going on, some degree of projection. Is not super quiet, but it's not strong, it's not active either. That's exactly a Gregorian voice. This moment, a bit of a run there. This moment, taste is the taste. Taste is this moment. Interesting. So passive and then active, Gregorian voice, crooner voice. He's really good. When sooner or later it's over, I just don't wanna miss you tonight, and I don't want the world to see. Whoa! Pay attention to the vowel modification. This is something that, well, naturally, as a voice teacher, I've worked on this song with students hundreds of times already. And one of the trickiest parts, whenever they don't want to go for the distortion that happens to the song, the original one has a phaser. Whoa! This breathy-ish distortion. Whoa! See me! The original has that phaser, but whenever they don't want to go for the phaser, one important thing to do that is that vowel modification. Whoa! To open up space, which is precisely what he's doing there. 'Cause I don't think that they'd understand when everything's made to be broken. Oh, and we had a little bit of a phaser right there. Broken, can. I just want you to know who I am. Yeah, man! And I don't want the world to see. Whoa! A B flat. The world to see me. 'Cause I don't think that they'd understand when everything's made to be broken. I just want you to know who I am. A yodel. Well, when we don't want that to happen, we call that a vocal crack. When we want it to happen, when it is intentional, we tend to call that a yodel. If I were his coach, I would say 100% intentional. Just kidding. But the thing is, this is another topic that I love to discuss, whether the intentionality of it is crucial, because sometimes it's not intentional. If we ask the singer, oh, was that they're intentional, sometimes they will say no, it wasn't, it was just something that happened, and it still sounds really good. Like, I really like it here. And of course I'm biased, but in my own singing, I try to apply lots of them intentionally. I try to program where I want them to happen, but because I like the sound. And most of my students, the same thing. If you are into, for instance, the Cranberries, you like this kind of stuff. right? Zombie,
Just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know.
Breathy voice right there. Pay attention to that softness, that breathiness.
Who I am.
Humming. I can hear a bit of vibrato there as well. Beautiful. Amazing. But of course, I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think of the song? What do you think of his performance? And of course, what do you think of my analysis here? I would love to hear from you. Sometimes you'll be listening to vocal coaches and then you become curious. Okay, but how does this person sound when they actually sing for real? Then I'll leave a card up here for you to check out my own original music. It would mean the world to me to get your feedback on it. If you are interested in becoming my singing student to learn each of the techniques that we discuss here and much more, I'll leave a link down below for you to get to know my singing program, Building Your Voice. We cover all of these techniques and much more there. We have a vocal exercise library for you to practice each of the techniques covered. We talk about vocal distortions, we talk about how to belt, how to be really expressive by using the passive vocal schemes, how to map out your song so that you know exactly what technique you should be using at each part of the song. All of that and much more, so click the link below and you get all of the info. Let me know other songs that you would like me to analyze next. That's it for today. You enjoy your day, you enjoy your coffee, and remember, if your concepts cannot be seen here in the real world, then they must change and not the world. See you in the next one.